at the end of the day, it kind of saved a lot of large banks and OEMs from millions of dollars of impact. So definitely fraud detection is there, and with the improvement in deep learning and Gen AI, lot of biometric features are also now coming into play, right? So speech recognition, face recognition, your thumb imprint. So today, all of these, even if when you're opening a mobile banking app, right, your thumb impression or your face is getting kind of validated, authenticated. So these are all steps in the direction of kind of making the entire banking experience, financial transaction experience seamless through fraud prevention, leveraging the AI technologies available in the market.
And a lot of the data that you're talking about is very personal data, and it is also...
yes.
Yeah.
So when it comes...
How do you go about this? How do you make sure that it's also safe for the customer to use your products?
Right. So when it comes to the banking industry, data, guidelines and regulations, compliance, both by the local governments and by the compliance teams of the banks are very stringent, right? So the data cannot leave the premise, right? So what happens is, what leaves the premise is anonymized data. At least the PII of the customer, the PII data of the customer is not propagating outside. So for example, if you are transacting, the amount of the transaction, last 4 digits of your card number, for example, what location you are transacting from, which merchant, only certain subtle parameters are being fed to the model to get the required outcome without kind of compromising your information. And there are multiple guardrails in terms of infrastructure, technology and compliances, which make sure that this data stays with designated systems in an encrypted manner, and there is no jailbreak happening, there is no loss of information or hacking that is happening today.
Thanks very much. And Raghu, I really liked your presentation, and also how you were saying that you're talking to the plants, and actually they are responding by also providing yield and providing crops. I think you made a compelling case that it actually is cost effective to work with your products. As a government, we're very much looking also into bigger goals for our societies, our food security. How do you think that Priva can help with this, with a theme like food security?
Sure. Yeah, especially when you're talking about new technologies, the ROI also comes into play. If you're talking about 1 acre and wanting to implement the fully autonomous control system, then maybe you'll struggle to convince yourself with the ROI. But when you're talking about scale, and that's one of the reasons I mentioned about the utilization of technology, to be able to grow more hectares, is the number of experienced growers is going down. So there was a generational gap where farmers didn't actually wanted their children to be a farmer, and that gap really hitting us badly now. And this is where the technology can also help. As I mentioned in the presentation, a lot of young engineers or IT professionals, they are taking up agronomy now and horticulture. That's where the technology comes into action and helps them. It doesn't grow the plants for them, but at least it gives them the more insight of what the plant is actually doing. For example, there is a technology called precision irrigation management, where it actually measures the weight of the plant. So by measuring the weight of the plant, the system can tell the grower, the young grower, whether fruit picking is taking place, or whether the weight loss is through transpiration. That means, i.e., whether the plant is active. And with those sort of insights into the plant biorhythm, the grower can actually learn. At the same time, his mistakes won't cost him the crop. And the other important thing to remember is to applying the right technology. Not all farms are the same. Not all crops are the same. So we can't literally take the technology being used in other countries and just apply in India. So you need to look at each site or each requirement on its own merit and then apply the technology. But
Can you say something about that? Like, are there certain products that work in the Netherlands but don't work in India, or how do you adapt there?
I wouldn't call it technology, but the simple fact that we need heating in Netherlands or the other parts of the EU, as you know, to keep the climate at a certain temperature, which is useful for the plant. But in India, we don't need heating.
You need cooling.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, and I keep hearing the same comment that these technologies are developed in Netherlands. Are they suitable for India? Sure, we're growing plants in Netherlands or any part of the world, and we're growing plants in India. So the plant needs actually doesn't change. So the same technology can be doing different things, but at the same time keeping the plant or giving the plant what it needs.
Thanks so much. I think we're actually, in terms of time, coming to the end of the session. I'm just looking at Ram, if we've still got maybe 1 or 2 minutes for questions from the audience. I'm just looking around. Is there anybody that has a question?
Traffic reduction, what you use in the Bangalore.
Do you want to repeat that with the microphone so that...
Decrease in the traffic congestion in the Bangalore city.
Yeah.
And some particular routes, if let's say I have to go to from Bangalore to Hosur, I'm just for example, it'll take 1 to 2 hours. What is the time is going to take after using your technology?
We have been actually
Time saving.
So we have actually been monitoring the few KPIs in terms of effectiveness of the system or solution. So we have also been monitoring around 22 high density corridors in Bangalore, like Airport Road or actually the other outer ring road and all. So we have been actually seeing almost 10% savings in the travel time, like 10% increase in the travel speeds basically. And then another KPI actually also we are seeing is incident response times. So when vehicle breakdown actually happens, so in how much time they are actually able to respond and then make that cleared. So all those actually again gets translated to the travel times, right? So, and then another thing actually we have also been as a associate with the Astram solution. So what we are trying to do is while actually all these things are happening, so bringing an immediate change in terms of relieving the congestion is definitely not possible, right? So we've also actually brought how can we actually help ambulances navigate through these routes, congested routes in the peak hours at least. So we've also actually got their app and then tried to integrate with the traffic signaling system and then give the priority to them. So as soon as actually they reach, so that their travel time savings actually also can be more valuable. So it's almost more than 6 months. 6 months, yeah. And the 10% in Bangalore, while actually the vehicles keep on growing, so that itself is a huge change that actually we can say.
Thanks a lot. Is there one more question before we close the session?
Definitely. So there is a lot of scope for improvement. There is a lot of latent potential which we think the roads actually are not having the capacity to handle even more traffic. But there is a lot of latent potential. If you can think of if you see actually any busier roads in different times of the day, so most of the times your last lane actually will not get utilized 100%. Maybe it got occupied with your street vendors or pedestrians walking on them and then illegal parking. So how actually we can identify them and then relieve them for the congestion, right? And then lot of times you also actually observe that even though some roads are actually heavily congested, at the same time the alternative routes are bit free. How we can actually make people travel equitably on all the complete road network utilization optimally utilized, then these things definitely will help reducing much more.
Integrate with Google Maps because mostly people use Google Maps, right?
Yeah, we already integrated.
It's already.
Yeah. We are actually getting the data from that. One of the data source actually is Google, Bing, and then the local taxi and then the bus transport aggregators, and then mainly their CCTV cameras also. Yeah. So that is the reason we didn't want to actually have one more sensor into the ecosystem. we wanted actually to use the existing infrastructure and then build upon it.
ప్రస్తుతం యాక్చువల్లీ మనకున్న బిగ్గెస్ట్ ఛాలెంజ్ అర్బనైజేషన్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ద సిటీస్. ఓకే, సో అండ్ దెన్ ఆ అర్బనైజేషన్ వల్ల వీఆర్ ఆల్సో గెటింగ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఛాలెంజ్ ఫర్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కంజెషన్, ట్రాఫిక్ కంజెషన్. It is like a blood pressure management for the health, like body. So we cannot just completely eliminate that blood pressure, but like still we have to control it and then manage it to be within a certain level to manage the health of the city. So that is where actually we came up with this AI solution called Astram. So where it actually is helping in terms of monitoring and then taking an actionable, having an actionable intelligence and then taking the right actions in right time to help traffic police and then the other authorities and then the road users in solving these traffic congestions. So one of the example actually I can say that recently there was a very long weekend just before August 15th. So normally what happens is that just before the long weekend all the people will start moving away from the city, going to their hometowns from these metropolitan cities, right? So we actually try to predict, okay, what is going to happen on that particular day, on the day of 14th evening. So with respect to the congestion hotspots, where will it be? And then with respect to that, Bangalore Traffic Police also have taken measures in terms of the work from home advisory to the IT companies, and then deploying the right field staff at the key hotspots, and then different other measures so that the congestion actually could be avoided. So it does not actually require to keep separate sensors and all, like, so we have to utilize the existing infrastructure like CCTVs and then the crowdsourced data, all of this, and then how we can actually exploit them in getting the right data and then using the data for the public good, for making the quality of life better for our people.